Welcome to the Dream Huge podcast, where we'll talk with real estate investors, entrepreneurs, business leaders, athletes, and more to inspire you with their success stories so you can work hard, never give up, and dream huge. And now, let's start the show.
Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome to the Dream Huge podcast. Man, we love to share success stories from other huge dreamers, folks in the real estate business, entrepreneurs, movers, shakers, influencers, and more. And hopefully these stories will help to motivate and inspire you to also, yes, you, dream huge. So we have our very special guest today, Jack Clark. Jack Clark is with water.com. How you doing, Jack?
I'm doing great, Pete. Thanks for having me.
Good, man. Thanks for making the time. So, Jack, tell us what you do currently at 180 Water.
So I'm actually the owner and founder of 180 Water, and I started out just as a water well guy, and then we franchised. So we focus primarily on residential and commercial water well service. So you call, you turn the shower, and it doesn't work. You give 180 Water a call, and we come and fix your pump and your water well issues and get you back flowing.
Excellent. And you're based out of?
Montana. Yep, Helena, Montana.
So lots of well service out there. You know, when I think of water well service, I think of folks that live in the country, right?
Yeah, yep. You know, and kind of that mom and pop,
city
right?
Water, at least, in other words.
Yeah. And I mean, we do, we do a lot of stuff in the city too, in terms of treatment, taking out chlorine and making, the purest water possible. And so we do a lot of things in the city too, but yeah. And when you think of, the country, you think of mom and pop businesses, right? Like it's not this giant corporation that's going to set up, on the outskirts of town where there's lots of water wells. And so that's kind of been the standard water well thing is, 5-6 employees and kind of a smaller company. And that's what our customers are used to. And so that's kind of what we decided to do in terms of the franchise model, is to just kind of, make mom and pop companies into an industry that really needs a lot more people to join it.
Right. And I love that. So you're scaling that with the franchise model. And as we travel into the world of Amazons, in the world of artificial intelligence, I think folks are kind of rethinking their business model, thinking, hey, is AI going to take me out anytime in the near future? And it doesn't seem like AI has an answer to take out water well service just yet. So I think it's a wise choice in scaling that. For the layman, for someone that doesn't understand how water well actually works, can you give us a brief overview of how it gets water to the house?
Sure. So a drill rig comes out, puts a hole in the ground, basically a giant straw that goes down, hits the groundwater, and then there's no way to lift that water once the well is drilled. So that's where 180 comes in, and we set a pump. And so a pump is a electrical motor that runs a wet end, and then it circulates the pump up the pipeline through your house into a pressure system, and that's what you use every day. And so there's a lot of different components to it, but basically we have it broke up into 3 parts. And so we have it relatively simple. I mean, we built a flow chart that'll diagnose pumps, and we built, for water well guys, a lot of tech into it. But, it's still pretty simple. A lot of us still type with 2 fingers. And so there's not a lot of tech in the water well industry, but, we're kind of cutting edge in terms of being able to kind of lay out a training program and really make sure that our guys are showing up and giving a consistent product and doing the same thing, from 180 Water, Helena, Montana to, 180 Water, Florida. And so it's really kind of a cool thing to be able to do that, offer 10-year warranties and financing and all of those things that come with the larger companies, but still the service of the small companies.
Yes. For the homeowner, and we're going to dive into the franchise model here in a little bit, but for the homeowner, what's the average life of, say, a brand new setup, and what's going to fail me first, and what's my biggest expense going to be moving forward?
Yeah, so a lot of systems that we pull out, I mean, we've pulled out pumps that are 40 years old. But as you know, I mean, nowadays they have that problem, in their words, probably a little bit corrected, in terms of now they fail between 10 and 15 years like clockwork. And so everything, I think, in our day-to-day life is kind of built to fail a little bit. And so there's a lot of things that we do to make sure that we catch those fail points, because I do think that they are designed to fail. So we've diagnosed a lot of those and then kind of built a program to make sure that maintenance stays up. And we're hoping to see, 20, 25 years out of your well pump that is kind of designed to last 10 to 15 by doing the annual maintenance on them and really kind of taking it into the, service side of things to make sure that you guys don't have those catastrophic, $7,000, $8,000 failures. We can catch it when it's a $20, $40 part. So
Yes, preventative maintenance.
yeah, and it doesn't exist in the water well industry. So we're really trying to make a heavy focus on that.
Do you work alongside realtors at all? Maybe we get a house in contract and we find out the buyer wants to have the well inspected, the well water inspected.
Yeah, we work with a lot of realtors, and we put together a program that's standardized that because and before kind of 180 came along, there was a lot of different variations of a well inspection, and so we've came out with a standard formula that gives us a really clean cut well inspection instead of like, well, I'll call this company and get a different result. And so 180 has kind of a nice standard position on well inspections of what we see and what we might be able to catch in the future. You know what I mean? Because we don't want to go to a well inspection and then have a failure 6 months down the road. And so, I mean, we're pulling amps, we're doing magging, and we're figuring out exactly, within reason of how much life that well has left in it. So we're kind of doing a lot deeper dive than a lot of companies do. And then we're still doing a water sample. And then with our 10-year warranty, I mean, we're doing that annual inspection every year. And so if there is an issue that's going to come up, we can get in front of it and really make sure that, we can take care of our clients. So, and then also do a water sample because it's our job to make sure that it's clean drinking water too, right? Like that's our responsibility as water well guys, is that you have access to safe, clean drinking water.
Fantastic. So how does the franchise model work? What does it cost me to get in? What are the fees, and what's the profitability look like there?
Yeah. So, I mean, we're very straightforward kind of guys. I mean, we're handshake, look you in the eye kind of guys. And so, I mean, our franchise fee is 45 grand and we basically reinvest that into our franchisee. I mean, we do all your marketing for the first 6 months. I mean, we really try to make sure that when you leave here, you have a relationship with us. And so, I mean, we're tooling your truck, we're paying for your hotel, we're making you feel at home here, and so that's a big part of that 45,000 is really get you off the ground and really breathe a lot of life into it. In terms of long-term stuff, it's a 10-year contract. So we have a 6% royalty and a 2% brand fund. And that's just based off gross sales. And and we do that on collected money. And so once you get a check, we can take 6%. So
Excellent. What type of equipment do I need to get started up?
So a lot of our guys are running brand new service trucks. Most of our equipment, is anywhere from $150,000 to $200,000. So our total startup cost budgeted for this program, it's about 250 grand. It's really kind of where everybody comes out. I mean, that's $15,000 in inventory, brand new truck, brand new service rig. And that service truck, I mean, it'll be able to pull 12,000 pounds. So, I mean, you can do larger pumps. So you can get into some 3-phase, 7.5, 10 horsepower pumps, no problem.
Gotcha. Interesting. Love it, Jack.
Yeah.
Jack Clark with 180 Water. So, Jack, how did you get to where you are today?
Yeah, I mean, I was just a ranch kid that grew up, and across the fence was a water well guy. And so I always kind of admired him because, he got weekends. And as a ranch kid, I never did. And so it just kind of allowed me to see, a little bit into his life and how clean a business he ran and how fortunate he was in his life. And so, when I was a young man and got married, I wanted that for myself. And so I pushed into the water well industry and, little that I know, it takes, a few years to be able to build that, especially from scratch, and I think I was very fortunate to have some very good mentors along the way that helped me with my success. And I think that's a big part of 180 being successful is being able to be that mentor that people were for me, for other business owners. Yeah.
Great story. So, what advice could you give to someone who's an entrepreneur like yourself, thinking about getting started, but afraid to take the first step?
Yeah, I mean, that first step's a big one, right? Like that is the step. Like everybody talks like there's a lot of steps, but really, once you're on that first one, man, you're just paddling, and that's okay, and that's good. But you just got to go for it, and you got to go all in. Don't stutter step. Just dive in and do it, and don't take no for an answer. I don't care if it's 7 o'clock on Saturday. just put in the hours, put in the work. And it is going to be a grind. I mean, that's part of starting a business is that, I worked 80 hours a week for 10 years and then, you kind of plane out a little bit and life gets better, but it does take time and you got to be patient and you got to put in the hours. And I think with that hard work comes the mentorship. I'm a big believer in that. I mean, when you're the first guy on the job site, the last one to leave, people notice that. And that's how you find your mentors and your people that'll take you to the next level is through that hard work. And so everything compounds, and just being that good human and surrounding yourself with good people, that success is inevitable.
That is it. What a great message from Jack Clark, water.com. Final closing thoughts before we get off here.
I don't know, man. I just keep that water pumping, I guess. I mean, 180 is going to turn around the water well industry. It's really a dying breed, and we're excited to see where it goes. And I hope that we can continue to attract such wonderful people.
Yeah, I really like how you standardized everything too. And I think you're probably standardizing things so you can scale and franchise, but those standards help your own business right in front of you as well.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
It really works all the way around to have those standard operating procedures in place, right?
Oh, yeah. And I mean, to be a small business that has access to the large business things, I mean, like we're negotiating your parts. And so, when there's 30 or 40 of us franchisees working on, 3 vendors, we have a lot more buying power that, basically gives you your whole 6% back. And so, I mean, our goal really is to make this franchise completely free. And we're really close to that already. I mean, most of our guys from a guy that starts out is saving, 16% just on cost of goods sold, let alone the marketing. You're linked into our website, so all your Google's at the top of the list and all those other things that are just side things. And then to tie that into a long-term thing with your 10-year warranty where that you have guaranteed work is just a really, really nice recipe.
Yes. And that's how you help, and that's how you succeed. You help others succeed, and you add value. You add more in value than what you charge in price, right?
Absolutely. Yep.
That's exactly what you're doing. You explained it to a T. So,
yeah.
All right, Jack, message is short and sweet today, but we're going to spread the word for you, buddy. And I'm friends with lots of entrepreneurs, and we got a lot of entrepreneurs listening to this this podcast as well. Hopefully we can send you some business and some new franchisees, buddy.
Sounds great. Thank you so much, Pete.
Yep. Thank you, Jack Clark, 180water.com. Thank you for watching the Dream Huge podcast. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share. And as always, remember the rules. Work hard. Just like Jack said, work hard. Get a mentor. I'm going to throw that one in there. Never give up and dream huge and keep that water flowing, baby. Pumping with 180 Water.
Thank you for listening to the Dream Huge podcast. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. For more inspiring content, follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Dream Huge Realty and on TikTok at Dream Huge Inc. Until next time.